Okay, so what do I actually think of the Px8 S2s? I know that you've seen all the reviews, you've looked at all the specs, but what is it actually like? First of all, that dip there is so important, because on the other headphones, some of the other headphones, where it doesn't slide down, my ear just touches this fabric, but it's fine. My ear doesn't touch the fabric because it dips all the way in. Second of all, it's overpriced. I mean, it's not overpriced for the materials and everything, but it's expensive, that's what I mean to say. And, you know, it's very expensive, so if you don't want to, like, you got to make sure you take good care of it because it's expensive, right? And it feels good. I mean, every part of it, you know, just feeling the leather here. Oh, nice. You know, these die cast things here, how smoothly that rotates. You know, this bit here smoothly goes up and down, and you do have to adjust it before you put it on your head. You can't really put it on your head and then adjust it, because it's too tricky once it's on your head to adjust. So you kind of got to adjust it to about there-ish, for me, and about there-ish, and then after you've adjusted you can put it on my head. These buttons are super clicky. They're really nice to press them, and you can press, like I heard someone say, do you really want to press button over and over and over again if you to turn something down? But that's not true, because you just press and hold it and it'll turn it down. You'll just keep holding it. Everything's I really like how they've done this edge here. They've sheathed the headphone with this metal bit here. They're just so pretty. Look at how they've done the cabling there, the exposed cabling. Oh, so nice. It's so good looking. I will say this, that you see how they've made this is kind of rounded. Now I don't know whether, because I just got these yesterday, over time, maybe over time it's like it will go a bit more flat, but the fact that it's rounded means it is still comfy, but it's actually not as comfy as my old Quiet Comfort 2s. So my old Quiet Comfort 2s, by contrast, if I just open up the Quiet Comfort 2 case, most people have seen or had a Quiet Comfort 2. You see how that's so much more flat there? And this is so much more round. And obviously the leather has come off of the Quiet Comfort 2s. It didn't come like this originally. So I definitely think that, and what it results in is it slips, like, you know, because it's only touching your head with the bottom part, it slips on your head backward and forward a little bit, and I really don't like that. I wish they'd made it more like flat, just at the top here maybe, or something, I don't know. Because I think they put batteries in this bit here. I can feel like there's a bulk there. I don't know whether it's a battery or not. What else? I think on the case, you know, it's a basic sort of case. I mean, it looks nice, it's fine, but you see how they've done the stitching here? they've done the stitching in a sort of very basic way, and they've exposed the stitching, which tells me that the stitching, it might snag on something over time as you're sticking it in your bag or something. It might snag on something. Whereas the way that Bose did it with their case, this is 20 years old now, is they wrapped this fabric here around so that the stitching is concealed behind there, so that it's not exposed. So if it brushes something in your bag, it's not just going to come off. And also, this is much more durable, I feel, than this, although this does look prettier. I do quite like this, actually. It looks pretty. And they're about the same size, those two cases. I would say the Bowers & Wilkins one is smaller, but it's not smaller this way. Oops. So, all that way. So, yeah, so I think the case is okay. I definitely love... well, there's two things I like. They've put this leather thing here, which makes unzipping this whole thing quite pleasant. Let me just put this down. Okay, so unzipping that is really quite pleasant. This is so soft. Oh, I like touching it. And then this magnetic-y bit here for the cables, that's so much better than what you get in this old Bose case with this cable pouch thingy here. So I think that they've done a good job with the case. It looks like a decent and hard-wearing case. I made this like a review of these anchors, and I said to myself, you know what? You don't really need a big boxy case. You can just have like this little pouch and it's fine. But then I dropped it on the ground and it went through the case, and not only that, but it actually damaged the headphone a little tiny bit. And I just got these mainly because they look really good. But they're so bulky at the sides there. Can you see how much that sticks out from your head? Whereas these ones do not. They hardly stick out from your head at all. By contrast, they're just so much less bulky. And these ones look really good. I think these both look really good, actually. These look good from the side, but not from this side so much. When these look good from this side and from this side. They look good both ways. So it's interesting, actually, how all three headphoney things have gone for three different approaches for the side for the pivot here. So here we've got the 2-prong. Here we've got the single prong from the top with this gap, with this gappy bit here for the pivot, and here we've got a single prong, but it goes from the side, and it's possible because this is metallic. I think this one looks much better than both that and that. And I really like and appreciate how much detail they've put into this. How they've made this small and rough, how they've made this smooth. Volume down, play pause, volume up. This is transparency mode. This toggles 3 ways, so you have to press it once to go into transparency mode, and then twice to go back to non-transparency mode. This is a cool button. That's just your off button there, or your on button, and your Bluetooth pairing. That's super cool. So I think I really like these. They're very expensive, and obviously you're paying for the premium materials. How do they sound? Well, you already know that they sound really good because you've already seen all the reviews. Compared to those Acute TH1s, I would say the Acute TH1 did actually sound better than these. But these are more comfortable than the Acute TH1. You can wear them out and about. They do not make sound. So one of the biggest problems I had with the TH1 was that the noise bleed was so much I couldn't wear them in the office. I've pumped these up to pretty much max, pressed them against here like they would be against my head, and you can barely hear anything. And so there's no noise bleed from these. This is just a better, more well-rounded headphone package, and it costs roughly the same. This is $800. The TH1s, the Acute TH1s, are $900. So the Acute TH1s are more for audiophiles, I think, and this is just a better all-rounded headphone. And I'd say Bowers and Wilkins have knocked it out of the park in terms of everything. Now, ironically, these are the cheapest headphones, and for certain things, actually, I prefer the sound of these. Like, on the stock basic EQ, without EQing anything, I actually prefer the sound of these a little bit better. So that's interesting. These do sound a lot more clear, though. You definitely get... This is a bit muddy, and this is much more clear. So I will say that. Out of all three, this has got the best sound. But I do actually prefer the sound from these ones for some strange reason. Even though they're cheaper. I just think that... And these both look really good. I just think that this looks expensive, and it is. And the only problem with that is, of course, if you damage them, then you're just damaged in a really expensive one. Whereas if you damage that, then you can just buy another one because it was super cheap. It was like $150 for that, and this is $800. These are my old Bose ones from 20 years ago, and they're like, you know, and you can get this adapter to make it into a Bluetooth thing. And these actually, I for certain tracks, these sound better than these, but actually for the ones that I was listening to Lights Out and the song, and this was actually better than these. And I think for Lights Out, actually, these were slightly better than these on the stock tuning. But this sounds more clear, and you get more. You don't have that annoying thing where your ear touches the fabric. Yeah, I definitely think this is the best headphone all round, but it's obviously very expensive. But if you think about it in terms of like buying a car, right, you might spend $5,000-$6,000 on a car, right? So if you're buying a car for $5,000 or a really cheap car for $5,000, then, you know, why not just spend $6,000 and you know, get yourself a nice pair of headphones for another $1,000, because it's just sound, isn't it? It's audio, and so it's nice. That's my review. Hope you like it. I know that my reviews are not as good as other people's, and I'm almost don't talk about the sound, but you know that the sound is really amazing on these.